Episode 21. As usual, I failed to estimate what would be the last episode of my session, even on a shorter session than usual. It still feels as if I'm in the middle of the epilogue for the Ifrit storyline, but I think it's just about to wrap up, so with these last few quests, I think we'll be able to take a longer break. Before we do that, though, things have moved around in the signs of the Seventh Dawn's headquarters, so I think we'll want to check in on each of these characters and see what news they bring, starting with my favorite. The destruction that visited this land cannot be attributed to the forces of the Empire alone. Worm of Midnight, of Breath Infernal, for some a legend made flesh, for others an insidious symbol of memory lost. We grasp but a piece of this puzzle. Much and more must we question and contemplate, ere the fallen moon revealeth its myriad secrets. I have heard word of your deeds. I am sparing in my praise, so know that you have truly impressed me. Be that as it may, it is fortunate that Thancred arrived when he did. Had he been but a moment later, I shudder to think what might have transpired. An experienced warrior like Abba won't die so easily. He's strong, fast, and cunning. Aye, he'll come back safe. I must confess, I do rather miss that obnoxious Mikote's company. Abba is taking part in a joint operation with the Immortal Flames. I imagine he's having the time of his life right now. Brent is still hanging out here, I see. Everything's looking to be in order. Right, on to the next customer. These two whose names I don't know. Una Tayun, whose name I do know. Now. Oh, hello again, lass. Meet Persevanes. We was thick as thieves in the old days. Least I think we was. Or it might have been that he was a right creepy bastard, and I did my best to avoid him. Still, we was both members of the old order, so either way we're in this together, eh? And yet Persevane's name doesn't appear above Persevane's head. Time will tell to see if this Persevane is important enough to get a name. You've put us all to shame with your recent performance in the field. If I'm to keep up, I dare say I'll need bigger knives. I'm sure you'll get one eventually. Beaches, oh yes, I love them. There's nothing like a good exposition when you're having trouble sleeping. 5 years ago, the 3 grand companies joined as one, and fought the Garlean Empire at the Kochno Flats. And now, for the first time, the people will gather to remember those who fell in battle. That being said, no one has any clear memory of what transpired that fateful day. Not even the leaders of each nation. Why is she standing like that? I'm sorry about all the attention you're getting, Komori. might have sung your praises a little too loudly, and often, to a few too many people. Next time, I'll be sure to hold my tongue, literally, if necessary. Anyway, I expect you'll want to know when and where the remembrance are taking place. The remembrance services are taking place. If all goes to plan, Gridania's Crown Company, the Order of the Twin Adder, will hold the first of the 3 services, and Elder Seedseer Connie Senna will deliver her address at Minketo's amphitheater. I should probably mention at this point that due to the organizational challenges involved in assembling all of the involved parties, it's possible that the order of these services might change. Still, there's not much we can do about that, so make Gridania your first port of call. Next, you'll go to Ul'dah, where Flame General Raubon al-Din will be addressing the masses at the Royal Promenade. Oh, and it's rumored there's to be a special guest. How exciting. Last but not least, you must make your way to the stateroom in Nimsalominsa, where Maelstrom Chief Admiral Merlib Blowfacewin will be giving her address. The room is accessible via the Admiral's lift. Identify yourself to the sentry, Xanthale, and he will admit you. Got all that? Well, off you go then. I hope you find the remembrance services suitably educational. I suggest visiting the city-states in my prescribed order. Though with your record of impeccable timing and luck, the schedule may well change in favor of your preferred travel plans. Farewell. That's a rather strange way to structure this quest. I wonder why they do that. Perhaps that's something to do with how the quest changed over time to streamline things. I can't imagine how that changes anything, but it seems a weird way to write it. Well, our quickest route would be to Limsa over here. Although the quickest route is simply teleportation, I feel like I don't want to pass up the opportunity to save money I don't need to save. Well, we get this cutscene. I wonder why they tell you that order to go in. If there's some narrative reason that it's better to go in the order that Jataru describes. Well, she gave us the option to disobey her recommendation. If I recall, the Admiral's office is quite small. Seems too small to have this kind of service in. Here to attend the Remembrance service, be quick. The Admiral is due to give her address at any moment.
The Garleans are another matter altogether.
So much for our alliance.
It's sunk beyond the seabed.
Brothers and sisters of the sea, hearken unto me. Look upon this, our mighty crimson standard, and tell me your hearts do not swell with pride. "700 summers have come and gone since our forefathers first ran aground in this fertile bay. In that time, guided by the Mother of Oceans, Limsa Lominsa has grown from humble fishing village to uncontested ruler of the 5 seas and beyond.
Did you look as the Admiral bid you? It is a rather stirring standard, I must say. The crimson field is meant to signify the blood of fallen crewmates, while the black longship represents a pirate vessel.
When the Garlean Empire marched upon Eorzea, we assembled beneath the Maelstrom standard, and our grand company was reborn. All answered the call, from the Knights of the Barracuda to Hilthier's bloody executioners, and together we met our would-be conquerors upon the field of Cartano. That day, the world bore witness to the united strength of Limsa Lominsa. I swear to you, no army ever fought harder or with more courage, yet many of ours did not survive. Join me now in remembering those who fought in the name of freedom and fell. May their souls be returned to the sea.
Freedom. Yes, they have always been rather fond of their freedom. Much as the beast tribes have. Small wonder. Beneath the surface, one would struggle to tell them apart.
It has been 5 long years since the calamity struck. 5 long years of tireless rebuilding. Yet still the wounds of the calamity fester and weep. But when I stand atop the mizzenmast and gaze out upon our battered and broken vessel, I see an undying spirit. Did we not build all this from the wreck of the Galadian all those centuries ago? Shall we not do so again? Yet there are those who would see this ship of ours sink beneath the waves of the restless Rotano. The Sahagin creep ashore seeking blood for their accursed god.
Those fishback
The Sahagin
bastards.
have risen?
While the mines of Ogomoro spew forth kobolds who push ever south, despoiling our lands as they go. These savage beast tribes will be the first waves to crash against our creaking hull. And behind them swells the grim tide of the Garlean Empire. Even now the curs fly their flags within our borders. Doubt not, but that they will be upon us ere long. We are well nigh surrounded. Yet there are those among us who would rather turn their swords against their crewmates than our cannons against our foes. How can we hope to repel our many enemies when mutiny breeds below deck? There is but one course left to us. One bearing that will bring us victory over the beast hordes and the Empire both, and see this ship safe to port. We must mend the rift the calamity has reopened twixt pirate and maelstrom, and stand fast with our adventurer brothers against the coming tempest. Mark ye well, a crew without unity is no crew at all. 'Tis but a mass of drowned men. To me, then, brothers and sisters of the sea, gather beneath the undying crimson standard, and pledge me your strength, your skill, your wisdom. And with the guidance of the navigator, this great vessel of ours shall ride the waves, till sea swallows all!
Long live the Admiral!
Admiral Melvin!
Gather the lads!
Oh, where's me cutlass?
I'll follow ye to the seven hells, Admiral!
If you'll permit me, Alfie no. And my sister, Alize, at your service. I saw at a glance that you were a fellow traveler. You might call us students of history, sampling the realm's remembrances in pursuit of enlightenment.
As the Admiral mentioned in her address, Limsa Luminsa is plagued by two beast tribes. The first are the fish-like Sahagin, worshippers of the primal Leviathan. The second are the kobolds, who dwell beneath the earth and take the primal Titan for their god. As if the beast tribe's presence weren't troublesome enough, the Guardians have also chosen to erect a fortress right in the Luminsans' backyard. And that is to say not of internal strife. As a nation of pirates, there is no end to the blood feuds between the various factions. And while they fight amongst themselves, the Guardians whet their blades and watch. If the Luminsans are to have any hope of withstanding the Empire, they must first resolve their own affairs. Differences must be set aside, and the primal threat dealt with once and for all. To this end, I expect that they will soon take a decisive action against the beast tribes. Mark my words, the Maelstrom Standard will be drenched a deeper shade of crimson ere long. That a capable adventurer like you should be a valuable addition to their crew is beyond question. Keeping with our need-this money-saving tactics, our next closest location would be... well, I guess the airship cost is the same between these two states. What order did Tataru recommend to us again? It was Gridania, then Ul'dah, then Limsa, so... we'll do it in reverse order. I can skip this cutscene, of course. I just choose not to.
Behold, 'tis the Sultana Nanimo herself!
And Reborn as well.
Hark you, souls of flame, drawn to the bosom of the desert, where the fire burns brightest and shall rage forevermore. Hurrah! Reborn! Where since antiquity, under the sage and judicious rule of the Ul dynasty, we have wrought sand into gold. Where by the grace and glory of Naldar have our brave sons and daughters flourished and prospered. I speak of Uldar!
There, at the Flame General's back flies the Grand Company's standard. Note the sigil. The golden scales of order balance the jewel of prosperity with the flame of might.
Great and many are the gifts our nation has given the realm. In Eorzea's darkest hour, on the killing fields of Cartano, none spent more in blood and gold than we. Thus was the 7th Imperial Legion laid low.
So that's how it happened. How soon history forgets.
Yet many left our gates, never to return. Let us pray for our absent brothers and sisters, that they might know happiness in the great beyond, as Thal's honored guests. If the fates were fair, the price we paid that day would have bought us victory. Alas, they are not. And now, but 5 years into this 7th Umbral era, the spirit of sacrifice which granted us our strength is all but dead. Look around you. What do you see? A people divided, downtrodden and enthralled. Where are the merciful alms of the rich? Where is the just steel of the righteous? I ask you, is this the great nation our brothers and sisters gave their lives to save? You who call this living, dishonor the name of the immortal flames. It is but a slow death. Our enemies surround us. The savage hordes of the Amalja wait beside our roads, strangling the lifelines of trade. Meanwhile, the Garleans make mock of our borders and despoil our land of its natural wealth. We stand on a precipice, yet we do not act. Whether trader or soldier, monetarist or royalist, all must recognize that a divided Uldar stands to fall. Victory and fortune walk hand in hand. Ye who seek glory and wealth, look not to what little you can snatch from your neighbor, but to the boundless wealth of the world beyond. Now is the time to unite. Now is the time to ride forth. In the name of the Sultana, I beseech you. Line not your own coffers, but those of the immortal flames. Seek not to prosper from Uldar, but to restore her to prosperity. As the realm prospers, so shall Uldar. As Uldar prospers, so shall her people.
Ya for Uldar!
Together we are one.
Your grace.
Reborn. People of Uldar, I, Nanimo, 17th in the line of Ul, address you. Much has been made of the wealth of Uldar. Yet those who measure that wealth in coins and carats are gravely deceived. For the true wealth of Uldar lies in the health, happiness, and hopes of her people. Beloved subjects, I bid you raise aloft the torch of Ul'dah, that her flames might serve as a beacon for all Eorzea to see.
Long live Nanamo!
Glory to the Sultana!
For victory and fortune, stride fearless into the Inferno, for we are, by fire, reborn! Forsooth!
The time is now!
I
Fancy meeting you again.
The Uldans have a long history of conflict with the Amalja, the beast tribe that worships the primal Ifrit. Judging by your look of distaste, I take it you have encountered them. The Uldans do not shy from confrontation. If aught threatens their precious prosperity, they will seek to crush it. So have they dealt with Ifrit thus far, smothering his flames each time he is stoked to life. Yet he is but one of several problems. Though they have been quiet these past 5 years, the Garleans have not gone away. Meanwhile, refugees continue to arrive in droves, and Ul'dah has no clear policy on how to deal with them. After all, not even the Sultanate's coffers are bottomless. And even assuming they had the coin, resources will ever be finite. Which brings me back to the subject of Ifrit. It has been observed that the Amalja are summoning him with ever-increasing frequency. Every time they do so, the Uldans send their forces to smite the primal. And though they invariably succeed, each victory is bought with blood. It is a war of attrition which they cannot well sustain. Small wonder, then, that the immortal flames are eager to recruit more members. At such a desperate hour, an adventurer of your experience would be a most welcome addition to their ranks. For their sake, I hope that the Flame General's words struck a chord with you. Perhaps the order that Hitaru recommended we visit in has something to do with the recommended narrative order of speaking with Alfinode. I don't think his speech changes dramatically depending on which order you talk to them in, but there could be some slight difference that makes it better in the order that she described. I can't imagine what, but that's the only guess that I have for why they structured it this way. It feels as if this is a simultaneous advertisement to join the grand company of each nation, as well as a disadvertisement, defamation of them all at the same time, delivered by Alfinode, showing their best foot with the leaders while having Alfinode dig into their heels or something like that, with some biting commentary. We'll pick that up. I'm not sure when that appeared, but if you're poking around looking for work, you must be an adventurer too, am I right? You won't find much here, I'm afraid. Seems the only thing the people talk about these days is that nasty bit of business down near Itham Har. Surely you've heard the story. of a strange portal suddenly appearing in the ruins down there. Hey, don't give me that look. I'm only telling you what I overheard from the whalers. They say on the other end of it is some sort of labyrinth. The thing is, every time they go down there to map the place out, nothing is the same. A mystery dungeon, if I've ever heard of one. No. Frankly, I'm more than happy to let it stay a mystery. Strange apparitions, booby-trapped corridors. Going down there is nothing short of suicide. Still, the prospect of treasure is awful tempting. Don't take my word for it, though. Head down to Issamhar and you can hear it straight from the Chocobo's mouth. That would be a deep dungeon, a special kind of dungeon, which we will deal with later. Gridania looks better at night than I remembered. Again, maybe because I'm looking up more than usual as a shorter character. This might make less noise on the Wayward Hatchling, but I think we can do better on the market board. Speaking of, I guess we can get a retainer. I'll probably do that later. We have another cutscene to get through.
I lost my son to the calamity.
The three Seed Seers are all together.
Some say you couldn't take a step without stumbling over a body. Our forebears were once strangers in the Twelveswood. Fearful of the Green Wrath, they hid themselves in the dark recesses of the earth. Yet they dreamed of basking in the dappled sunlight of the forest. Through great effort, they proved their worth to the elementals, and were granted a place beneath the boughs. So it was that Gridania was born, some 5 centuries ago. Working hand in hand, the Hyur and the Elysian settlers sowed the seeds of our civilization, and soon they were joined by folk of all races. So nourished by the waters of unity, and blessed by the light of the matron, Gridania flourished into the great nation it is today.
Do you see the Gridanian standard? There, hanging behind the Elder Seed Seer. The entwined serpents represent the unity between Hyur and Elysian. An elegant symbol, do you not agree?
In accordance with the will of the elementals, we have embraced a life of peace. Alas, our neighbors have not always sought the same for themselves, nor for us. Though we Gridanians have no love for war, we have still less for those who would threaten our way of life. Ever have we fought to protect the sanctity of the Twelveswood. When the Garlean Empire brought its war of conquest to Eorzea, we rallied under the noble standard of the Twin Adder that we might push back the encroaching darkness. And it was we who prepared the ground for the reformation of the Eorzean Alliance, that all the peoples of this realm might stand united against the common threat. "5 years ago, the Alliance met the armies of the Empire upon the fields of Cartano. It would prove the bloodiest battle in recent memory. Countless Gridanian lives were lost. As Supreme Commander of the Order of the Twin Adder, ever shall I bear the weight of our people's sacrifice. Alas, their loss was not the only tragedy to befall us that day, for soon came the calamity. The scars borne by our forest are a constant reminder of its violence. Our lives have been irrevocably changed, each waking hour a struggle to survive. Driven to desperation, some among us have strayed from the path of righteousness, resorting to banditry, poaching, and other unconscionable deeds. To compound our woes, the Ixal have returned in force, emboldened by our suffering. They test our defenses nigh without cease, and prey upon the vulnerable. So beleaguered from within and without, it is of little wonder that our unity now falters. Dark times are upon us.
Time was a man could walk
pox
the
on the
high
bloody
roads without
Ixal.
fear.
On this day, 5 years ago, countless Eorzeans laid down their lives that we might behold another dawn. Please join with me in honoring their memory.
And how do you propose to honor the memory of those you cannot remember, pray tell?
The destruction wrought by the calamity was indiscriminate. It dealt death to Eorzean and Garlean alike. Yet while we have labored to rebuild our homes, to rebuild our lives, the Empire has set about raising steel fortresses here in the Twelveswood. Let none be mistaken. The Garleans remain the greatest threat to our survival. If we are to stand against them, we must remember what it is to be united. Our many troubles blind us to the woes of our fellow man. Thence is harmony lost. Yet harmony is the founding principle of Gridania. We are gathered here to honor the fallen. Let them be honored not only in word and thought, but through concerted action. I bid you, join hands with me once more beneath the Twin Adder's standard. And together, let us heal the forest's wounds, that our progeny might live in harmony beneath these ancient boughs. For serenity, purity, and sanctity. We must think of the children!
Woods will be done.
It's up to us to protect the
For all
forest.
the elementals!
Fancy meeting you again.
The Gridanians are unfortunate enough to have to contend with two beast tribes. The Ixil are unquestionably the more troublesome, being of a naturally warlike disposition, and want to summon their bloodthirsty primal Garuda. The Sylphs, by contrast, are peaceful in nature, being mischievous rather than malevolent, and have long been on friendly terms with the Gridanians, until recently, that is. Alas, they have grown aloof, a change observed at roughly the same time they summoned their primal Ramu. The Gridanians have no love for war, and they consider open conflict a last resort. Though they clash with the Ixil ever more regularly, you may be assured that they do so in self-defense. As for the Sylphs, they are as yet bound by a peace treaty, though one wonders how long it will be before it is broken. The 12th Wood was grievously wounded during the calamity, leaving Gridania vulnerable to attack. The people are hopeful that restoring the wood, and thereby the power of the elementals, will put an end to their woes. Yet how long will that take? Centuries, I'd wager. Meanwhile, the Ixil will continue their incursions, spurred on by Garuda and her insatiable appetite for destruction. Whether the Gridanians like it or not, sooner or later it will come to all-out war. And when it does, the Order of the Twin Adder will need all the help it can muster. How valuable might the aid of a capable adventurer prove to them then? Komori, this is Minfilia. You are well, I hope. Would I be correct in thinking that the final remembrance service is now concluded? A moment ago, you say? What a coincidence. Jesting aside, I trust you remember our guests from the Grand Companies. Well, delighted though we are to have them here at the Waking Sands, it would not do to keep them in suspense any longer than necessary. In short, hurry back. I think Komori probably thinks that these two kids she keeps running into are snide little shits. But she respects that, the way that they kind of talk backhanded about these national leaders. Let's complete this as Gladiator for the experience. Welcome back, Komori. Were the Grand Company's leaders' words as illuminating as you had hoped? Aye, each nation is beset with problems. I trust you see now why your services are in such demand. Would that there were more of you, Komori. But you must be tired from your journey. Why don't you rest a while, and take a moment to reflect on your decision? Once your mind is made up, pray give the Grand Company officers your answer.
The gods only know what grand company our adventurer friend will keep. The wheels of change are in motion regardless.
Brother, are you certain this course is best?
Whatever do you mean, dear sister?
The so-called remembrance ceremonies were little more than standard waving rallies. As though the Calamity and Seventh Umbral Era warranted scarcely a mention.
Well, of course they were standard waving rallies. Since you are so observant, mayhap you noticed what mention was made of the Warriors of Light? None. I suppose they must have forgotten the heroes who spared Eorzea a fate worse than the Calamity? No, dear Alize, they haven't forgotten these details. They have elected to omit them. Deep are the wounds the Calamity inflicted upon Eorzea. So deep, in fact, that the realm still bleeds. Needless to say, the beast tribes and their primals do little to alleviate the pain. So, the task of salving Eorzea's wounds falls to the scions of the Seventh Dawn, with a little help from our friends, the Grand Companies. Remembrance will yield no remedy. If our world is to heal, we must put the horrors of the Calamity behind us.
Our grandfather would never entrust the fate of the realm to despots who rewrite history to their convenience. There must be another way to cure what ails this world, and I mean to find it.
You are most welcome to try. Our paths may differ, but our destination is the same. In time, I dare say we will see eye to eye.
I should hope so.
My lady!
We are to escort you!
Hope does not come into it. We share the burden of this fate, dear sister, and will prevail together or not at all. The salve will serve not only to close up our present wounds, but prevent old ones from opening anew.
With the power you possess, there will be those who wish you ill, and you must needs be on the lookout for them. Yet however vigilant you are but one woman. In the midst of a grand company, however, you will be one woman amongst many, a friend amongst friends, your achievements will be shared, and so will the danger. A line she already delivered to us. Now as for which one we're going to choose, just to check. Welcome back, adventurer. I take it General Raubon's words kindle fire within you. You can't seriously be considering joining another grand company. Why, they are not nearly as grand as ours. I take it the Elder Seedseer's words touched your heart. Have you resolved to entwine your destiny with that of the Twin Adder? Forgive me. In my eagerness to embrace you as a sister, I mistook your intention. How was the Admiral's speech? But you need not explain. That you stand before me now is answer enough. You've resolved to join the Maelstrom, have you not? Well, I dare say you have your reasons, but mark me. In stormy seas, the strong of arm and stout of heart, must pull together or the vessel will founder. And when a ship goes down, the passengers always share the same fate as the crew. Remember that. Yes, as for which one we choose, I think Komori probably thinks that the Redanians, the serpents, seem like a bunch of tree-hugging cultists, especially with those weird horde children that were standing silently behind Connie Senna the whole time. And she knows enough about Ul'dah to know that the rich people over there probably have a tight grip over everyone else. Too tight a grip for her liking. While with the storm people, of Limsa Lominsa, it seems like there's a lot of leeway going on with all the pirate dealings going in and out of that port. She's not too keen on joining any grand company, but if she would join one, She might be able to get away with some mischief, with all of the pirates running amok in that city. So I think she'll join that. The real reason I'm joining the Storm is because I already joined the Serpents, or rather the Flames in my main character, and I don't want to join the Serpents because I'm, again, not too fond of Gridania. That's the spirit, lass. With allies like you, how much stronger our crew is. Let us brave the seas together, friend. Now the choice is made. It is time to add your name to our rolls. Make your way to Limsa Lominsa and seek out our Grand Company's headquarters. And Limsa Lominsa red die. Maelstrom Command is located on the upper decks. I will send word to our personnel officer to expect you. The duties of a Maelstrom soldier can be both arduous and challenging, but I promise you, you will not regret this choice. May your passage be swift and your bearings sure. Do not tarry, there is much work to be done, to which your skills are well suited. What's this? You mean to take up with the Maelstrom, but did the awe-inspiring figure of General Raubon not stir you? He can seem a trifle intimidating, but I'm sure you'd warm to him, given time. Pray keep in mind that you are at liberty to transfer between Grand Companies. Should you ever experience a change of heart, the Order of the Twin Adder would be proud to have you. Favorite destinations reduce the cost of teleporting. There can only be so many favorite destinations that you can select. Well, there's a fanfare. Hail, adventurer. What business have you at Maelstrom Command? My name is Komori Moriko. I believe you are expecting me. Komori Moriko. Our recruitment officer sent word of your coming. It shall be my honor to induct you into the ranks of the Maelstrom. Now, before I can accept your oath, you must be made aware of several... Sir. What is it, Private? Then this had better be important. Sir, we received a report of a lookout in Lower Lanosia, sir. Imperial forces have fired upon a Highwind Skyways airship. The vessel is in a bad way, sir, and appears to be banking for an emergency landing in Cedarwood. Cedarwood? Damn it, we have no troops available in that area. The bulk of our infantry is bogged down on the coast skirmishing with the fishbacks. Moriko, this is highly irregular, but I fear your first duty in service to the Maelstrom must needs be unofficial. If our man in Lower Lanosia is correct, the airship will come down in territory crawling with Imperial scouts. If there are any survivors, we must reach them before the Guardians do. Make haste to Cedarwood, locate the airship, and if any of its occupants are alive, make sure they come to no further harm. We'll see about swearing you in upon your return. Cedarwood. Actually wasn't expecting a quest on this part. I guess this is another divergent path in a realm reborn. The only other divergent path that I remember would have, of course, been the starting city you choose from. Of course, this divergent path is probably much simpler. I suppose this is our first time here. I could have used the bridge, but this is fine too. Lanosia is looking a lot greener than I remember. It's good. Everything seems bigger as a lava fell. Quite beautiful. In fact, it's so beautiful that I think I'll take a break here.